Have you tried Juewei Duck Neck? Recently, I came across some news about the brand. Juewei Duck Neck has closed 5,000 stores, and the sales in the third quarter dropped by 700 million yuan. I have to say, good riddance.
A vlogger shared his unpleasant experience while buying food at Juewei Duck Neck. He complained about the staff pretending not to understand customer orders. For example, when a customer asked for half a box of potatoes, the staff would accidentally give 2/3 of a box or even a full box instead. The vlogger mentioned that he encountered this issue at multiple Juewei Duck Neck locations in different cities and suspected that this practice might be a result of specific training from the company headquarters. Juewei Duck Neck sales continued to decline from January to June this year. The company saw a 15.6% drop in revenue, with total earnings reaching just 2.82 billion yuan. Net profits also fell by 40%, dropping to 175 million yuan. The number of stores has been steadily shrinking. At the end of 2023, there were almost 16,000 locations. By September this year, that number had dropped to just under 11,000, meaning over 5,000 stores closed in the past 20 months. The vlogger also observed that it was not just Juewei Duck Neck that's closing stores. Other brands like Zhou Hei Ya and Huang Shang Huang are gradually disappearing as well. According to financial reports, Zhou Hei Ya plans to close 785 stores by the end of 2024, while Huang Shang Huang will close 837 stores. By mid-2025, Huang Shang Huang had already shut down 762 stores, nearly matching the total number of closures from the previous year. Once a leader in the Chinese marinated snack industry, Juewei Duck Neck, which quickly expanded nationwide, is now facing the same fate this year. Once known as the king of marinated snacks, Juewei Foods gained massive success with its signature duck neck, achieving a market value of 60 billion yuan at its peak. But the company is now facing its most severe operational crisis since its IPO. In 2024, the net profit plunged by 34%, with a further 27% decline in the first quarter of this year. For the first 3 quarters of 2025, revenue totaled only about 4.3 billion yuan, down 15% year-on-year. Net profit fell by over 30%, and the number of stores shrank by a third, with nearly 5,000 closures. Its stock price has plummeted more than 80% from its peak, going from a star stock to a fallen one. What happened to the once glorious Juewei Duck Neck? In September, Juewei Duck Neck came under scrutiny again for financial violations when the Hunan Securities Regulatory Bureau imposed special treatment (ST) on the company. Reports reveal that between 2017 and 2021, Juewei Food had failed to accurately report income from franchise stores' renovation services, underreporting revenue by over 700 million yuan. The Hunan Securities Regulatory Bureau found that the company violated information disclosure rules, resulting in significant omissions in its financial reports. As a consequence, Juewei Food was fined 8.5 million yuan. The core issue stemmed from the fact that some franchise stores had paid for design and renovation fees through third parties or franchisees, bypassing the parent company's accounting system, creating an off-the-book cycle that led to underestimated revenue. Following this, Juewei Duck Neck's stock price continued to fall, with its market value shrinking drastically. Over the past decade, Juewei's development model has been synonymous with rapid franchise expansion. With its extensive franchise network, the company achieved remarkable store growth in a short period. By 2017, the number of stores surpassed 9,000, and by 2023, it had reached almost 16,000, an increase of nearly 7,000 stores in 6 years. As more stores opened, financial reports showed continuous growth, but this land-grabbing expansion relied heavily on ongoing market space growth. Once a market became saturated, the growth momentum began to falter. By 2024, the total number of marinated snack stores in China had reached around 240,000, with more than 23,000 stores closing in just the previous year. Juewei was no exception, and its store count decreasing by almost 1,000 locations in the first half of 2024 compared to the previous year. While these macro figures reflect the outcome, the underlying issue lies in the company's strategy. To understand the challenges Juewei Duck Neck faces today, we must look at product pricing, the aspect most directly felt by consumers. Pricing not only undermines sales but also influences the brand's image and long-term growth. A reasonable pricing strategy can balance profits and reputation, while overpricing for short-term gains may create the illusion of revenue growth but inevitably leads to weaker consumer demand. Juewei Duck Neck's core business focuses on marinated duck products, with its profit margins heavily influenced by raw material prices. Due to significant fluctuations in domestic duck raw material prices, which saw increases of over 125% at their peak, the company faced challenges. While raw material prices have since decreased, the selling price of finished products has not fallen. This is largely due to Juewei's massive investment aimed at rapidly expanding its store network. For comparison, Huang Shang Huang closed nearly 800 stores in the first half of 2025, but his net profit increased by 27% year-on-year. This highlights that much of the profit growth came from reducing store investment cost. In other words, the high price of duck neck products is largely driven by brand expansion and distribution costs. As a result, consumers are feeling the pinch with the rising cost of duck necks. Many people jokingly said, even with a monthly salary of over 10,000 yuan, I don't dare to eat duck neck casually. The persistent high prices directly led to an 11% drop in Juewei's average revenue per store in the first half of 2024, with sales and customer traffic significantly decreasing, reflecting a clear decline in consumer willingness to purchase. For consumers, duck neck, duck wings, and duck feet are among the most common snacks enjoyed during leisure time. They are affordable and easily accessible, but over the past decade, the prices of these duck products have more than doubled. In 2012, Zhou Hei Ya and Huang Shang Huang offered duck necks at just 30 to 40 yuan per pound. Now the cheapest options start at over 60 yuan per pound, with prices rising faster than wages. Consumers can no longer afford to indulge. What's even more surprising is that duck products are now sold by the gram, turning what was once a casual snack into a luxury item. Many consumers have criticized Juewei Duck Neck for misleading pricing. One customer noticed that the price for duck tongues was marked at 89 yuan and assumed it was per pound. But upon checkout, they realized the price was for half a pound. A small bag of duck tongues ended up costing 63 yuan, much more than expected. All of our products are priced at a pound. For example, the price is 89 yuan for a pound. We price everything based on 250 grams, and all products are priced by the gram. This was always been our practice.
Juewei Duck Neck is really expensive. For example, their spicy duck neck costs 48 yuan per pound. Cuttlefish is priced at 108 yuan, duck intestines at 92 yuan, and duck collarbone at 42 yuan, and 250-gram chicken frame. They all may seem affordable, but everything is priced at a pound. Even duck esophagus costs 78 yuan per pound, and the seaweed is 24 yuan. I really like their products, but honestly, they're just too expensive. Way too expensive, my friend.
In addition to high prices, many consumers also complain about poor purchasing experiences. Some stores have inaccurate scales and secretly add extra charges. Others offer duck products that seem to have been stored too long, affecting their taste. After spending a lot of money, customers are not getting the satisfaction they expect. This poor experience has led even loyal customers to turn away. Juewei Duck Neck has been attempting to find new growth points at investing in related businesses. The company has invested in dozens of firms across various sectors, including seasoning, cold chain distribution, and supply chain management, and even bought shares in competitors. But these investments have not delivered the expected returns. For 3 consecutive years, the company's investment results have been negative. In 2012, it lost 94 million yuan. In 2013, it lost 116 million yuan. And in 2014, it lost 160 million yuan, bringing the total investment losses over these 3 years to more than 370 million yuan. With its core business slowing and its side investment losing money, Juewei has found itself in a difficult situation. The strategies that once supported its success, franchise expansion, raw material cost reduction, and capital-driven stories, are no longer effective in today's economic climate. The franchise market is nearing saturation, cost control options are limited, and investment stories no longer appeal to investors. What's more critical is that today's younger generation is different from the impulsive consumers of the past. They now focus more on value for money and practicality. As many consumers post on social media about what else they could buy with the price of a cup of milk tea, it's only natural for them to also wonder, how many eggs could I buy for the price of a bag of duck necks? Consumer attitudes are shifting. The domestic market is currently in a period of consumption downgrade, with people leaning towards rational consumption and seeking value for money rather than simply buying for a brand or sentimental reasons. This year, a Xibei catering group and Luo Yonghao incidents once again brought the topic of pre-made dishes into the spotlight. In a culture where food is central to life, people have already grown frustrated with the increasing food safety concerns. At this time, Juewei Duck Neck has centralized its production processes in a factory, distributing products via cold chain to be further processed at local stores. While this food processing model improves efficiency, it has transformed what consumers once saw as fresh, hot, marinated snack into pre-made dishes. Already struggling with a large loss of customers, Juewei Duck Neck's shift in processing methods has turned it into a second Xibei, tricking consumers into paying high prices for pre-made dishes. This move has only worsened their situation. With the improvement of cold chain logistics and the widespread use of e-commerce platforms, consumers can now directly purchase marinated snacks online. The speed of delivery and advancements in preservation technology means that online purchased food can even be fresher than what's available in stores. In such a competitive environment, Juewei Duck Neck's traditional store model appears cumbersome and expensive. This is especially true in smaller towns where the model struggles with insufficient consumer spending, slow turnover, high inventory, and less fresh food, ultimately leading to store closures to cut losses. In response to these challenges, Juewei Duck Neck launched its first Plus restaurant in Changsha, attempting to transform into a more dining-oriented business. But due to the unclear positioning and overpriced offerings, the results have been limited. In contrast, another brand, Zhou Duck Head, has successfully expanded nearly 30,000 stores by emphasizing a made-to-order and family-run model. These stores features freshly marinated products with enticing aromas, while their prices are one-third cheaper than Juewei Duck Necks. Customers can choose their preferred cuts and watch the weighing process, which gives them peace of mind. With smaller store sizes, lower rents, and flexible operations, the costs are significantly lower than those of major chains like Juewei Duck Neck. A new Zhou Duck Head store has recently opened at the Xintiandi Food Street in Luohe, Henan. With affordable prices and freshly made-to-order products, the store has quickly become popular. The new store in Shihong offers duck wings for just 1 yuan each, and a 19 yuan set featuring 9 items: 1 duck head, 2 duck necks, 2 duck collarbones, 2 duck wings, 1 grilled sausage, and 1 duck paw. This 9-item set is available for only 9.9 yuan, and 3 duck necks or 2 duck heads can be bought for the same price.
Juewei Duck Neck, you might as well just be taking people's money. Guess how much these few duck paws cost? The bill came to 40 yuan, but I used a Douyin coupon to save 5 yuan, so it came to 35 yuan in total. With 35 yuan, I could buy a high-speed rail ticket from Changyu to Hangzhou. For 35 yuan, some people might save a little, buy 2 buns for breakfast, and then duck leg rice for both lunch and dinner, covering their entire food costs for the day. Also, every time I buy from Juewei Duck Neck, no matter what quantity I ask for, they always give me more. Not once have they given me less than what I asked for. You should stop calling it Duck Neck and just call it Mr. Generous Duck Neck.
Zhou Duck Head, founded in 2019, has rapidly expanded, opening nearly 30,000 stores in just a few years. Its stores count has already surpassed that of Juewei Duck Neck and the other 2 major players in the industry. With fresh marinated products made on-site and affordable prices, consumers are happy to buy, and business benefit from thin profit margins and high sale volume. This new type of competitor is taking market share from the traditionally dominant players like Juewei Duck Neck. Scholars have pointed out that compared to foreign companies, Chinese firms often focus on quick financial gains and investment expansion after going public, neglecting product quality. This issue stems from distorted economic structure caused by the CCP's extreme leftist political system, which prioritizes party and government leadership, collective interest, and short-term political achievements, leading to a severely warped market mechanism. In China, private startups have long faced barriers to financing. State-owned banks prefer lending to state-owned enterprises or large infrastructure projects, while private enterprises face high loan threshold and expensive cost. As a result, going public becomes the only fast track for private companies to raise funds. Once initial public offering is successful, companies are often forced to comply with political directives of growing bigger and stronger. Local governments, driven by the need to boost GDP and secure political achievements, push companies to expand rapidly in order to drive employment, tax revenue, and land development. The China Securities Regulatory Commission, CSRC, also favors high-growth cases over sustainable profit models. Under such structural pressure, founders and management teams prioritize rapid expansion over focusing on product quality, as the former quickly boosts market value and facilitates financing, while the latter takes longer to show results and is harder to quantify in terms of political achievements. The Chinese stock market is not a fair platform for resource allocation. Instead, it serves as a tool for the bureaucratic elite. Initially, the market was designed to meet the financing needs of the party and government. State-owned enterprises often use backdoors listing to raise capital, while elite families control IPOs and refinancing through front companies. Retail investors' funds are systematically siphoned off to benefit the privileged classes or fill government budget gaps. Regulatory oversight is nearly non-existent, with insider trading, related party guarantees, and financial manipulation being commonplace. Once companies go public, major shareholders are often elites or relatives of local officials. These stakeholders cash out by selling shares at high prices through private placements or by making cross-sector investments. As a result, listed companies become tools for elite capital, unable to focus on long-term development or generational successions like Western family-owned businesses. In the system where the party and enterprises are deeply intertwined, corporate strategies are shaped by elite interests. Funds that go to the research, supply chain, or branding are redirected into real estate, finance, or government projects, often in exchange for policy protection and further financing opportunities. Juewei Duck Neck is a typical example of this trend. After going public in 2017, its store count surged and revenue doubled, giving the appearance of growing bigger and stronger. But this was actually the beginning of its quality collapse. Instead of investing in flavor innovation and cold chain upgrades as originally planned, the billions raised were largely redirected into real estate development and financial investments. This led to a sharp decline in net profits, large-scale store closures, and financial fraud, eventually resulting in a suspension of its stock. Similarly, Zhou, the first restaurant brand to list on the A-share market in 2007, could have used its capital to refine its roast duck techniques and standardize its services. Instead, it blindly expanded nationwide, ventured into an alcohol market, and suffered from poor service and inflated prices, causing a 90% drop in customer traffic. From 2021 to 2024, it accumulated losses exceeded 800 million yuan, and its cash flow was only kept alive by government subsidies. Hadilao, which went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in 2018, followed a similar path. Its store count doubled to 1,600, but its turnover rate dropped from 5 times to 2.2 times, resulting in a massive loss of 4.2 billion yuan in 2021 and a market value loss of over 300 billion Hong Kong dollars. Zhou, which went public in 2020 with the sour cabbage fish hype, had a market value of 56 billion Hong Kong dollars. But its fundraising was not used to optimize the supply chain for Teo sour cabbage fish, but instead was spread across multiple brands with little success. In 2024, the net profit plummeted by 88%. It closed 88 stores and its stock price dropped by 90%. The subsequent 7-minute meal controversy completely shattered customers' trust in the brand's food safety. Looking back, there was once a vendor carrying a shoulder pole with marinated snacks calling out along the street. With a single shout, he could draw a crowd of eager children, their laughter filling the air. The small marinated snack shop at the end of the alley, run by a husband and wife team, would simmer their ingredients in the evening, and by morning, the delicious aroma would drift far down the street. The shop may have had a modest storefront, but it was the heart of the community, providing everyday meals for families. Back then, marinated snacks were not just food, but a part of life, a warmth that could be felt simply by walking past that little shop.